welcome back to the next edition of the Always Wolves Squadcast. Seems a bit of a while, and I am joined by Manny Singh. Hi, Manny.
Manny, I'm here. How you doing?
Keep calm. And what's that? Keep calm and love samosas.
Yeah, keep calm and love samosas.
Oh, was that said by the dementia people?
No, actually, Amazon. I tagged Amazon in. Somebody wanted a delivery in London, so I tagged Amazon. I said, "Can you sort my deliveries in for me?" And Amazon replied and says, "I'll tell you what, we'll send you some gifts." And they sent me a T-shirt and a mug.
Oh, fantastic, isn't it? That's fantastic. And we're also joined again on this one by the esteemed Kevin Rogers. How you doing, Kevin?
Esteemed. Good to see you again.
Yeah, you doing well?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, not quite climbing any walls just yet, but yeah, good.
So in this episode, let's spread some positivity around the world, because we've had obviously so much negative stuff this year, almost like we're living in a parallel universe. But finally, we've got Premier League football, not as we know it, to look forward to. So we're going to look forward to that, talk about a little bit of the transfer speculation and a bit of the news going on around Wolves. And of course, we've got some questions, some funny questions to answer at the end. So guys, how are we feeling? How have we been coping, like all the fans in lockdown? And are we looking forward to the restart?
Go, Kevin.
I don't think it's quite hit home yet. In a week's time, we're going to be seeing our team again. It's not reality yet. But really excited just to get going. I mean, we've had the kind of lead up with all the German games and the Portuguese games, being able to see those. Even catching some Polish games recently. So I can't wait to see the lads are back on the pitch.
Oh, fantastic! And you, Manny?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. You know what Kevin just said. It's going to be sort of different. Wolfgang, who has got a Twitter account. He does the T-shirt.
Yeah.
Well, if you go on his Twitter, he's done like a wall chart, like a World Cup wall chart of all the fixtures. And it actually feels like a mini World Cup, but with your club. Because we can't go there. We're going to be watching it on TV. So there's a bit of a togetherness about actually watching it on the TV and it being in the summer. It's a new experience, isn't it? So we need to, we're all disappointed we can't be there, but we can embrace it and make it really, really good. And we've got, the weather's been fairly good, and I'm sure it will be a positive thing and bring people back to and occupy their minds with slagging off the players rather than everything else.
Well, the Euros would have actually started, I think, yesterday. I think the first game of the Euros, which was Euro 2021 now, but Euro 2020 would have started yesterday. It is kind of like what you're saying, really. Football in the summer. Okay, we're not going to be in the stadium, but I don't know about you guys, but I'm so glad that we're actually going to finish it this way rather than points per game way. And at least you can finish it on the pitch, okay, without fans and stuff like that. But interesting. So how are you going to be watching the games?
Just like this day, to be honest. We haven't got really any special plans. The boys will be with me and we'll watch it at home. But, we're mad. We'll dress up like we're dressing up for a match. We will. And we'll sit on the TV and we'll cheer and shout and we'll scream and bawl and we'll say that's a wrong substitution. We'll have a go at VAR. We'll do all the same things, don't worry.
And I've heard that Sky have come out, I think I mentioned it on my latest vlog, that they're going to be teaming up with EA Sports to create atmosphere, and there's going to be an in-app thing where you can interact with each other. You can press a button to ask for the chance to be played or something along that line. And Wolves, of course, have done this mosaic flag, haven't they, which is going over the South Bank, which you can have your faces on, or faces of friends or past loved ones and stuff. And there's some places looking to get the cardboard cutouts, ain't they?
It's really interesting. I think there's some interesting characters being submitted to be on the mosaic, but I think they're quite heavily vetting them. So I don't think they're going to see Harold Shipman next to Dominic Cummings just yet.
I know, and apparently the Tiger King and Carol Baskin was on there, and all sorts of people like that as well. But yeah, they are.
Imagine actually paying £7 and putting a picture like that on, knowing that it was going to be filtered and you're not going to get your money back. You know, that was all in the terms.
What I think is lovely though is some of the other things that the people have submitted pictures of people that have passed on that haven't experienced this amazing time that we're experiencing at the moment.
Yeah,
their loved ones can be part of the crowd. And that's just
I've done a picture of my dad with Bill, who passed away. Who used to be a lot on my channels, aka Sean Connery, and I've sent a picture of us because we never had that chance to, you know, be together in the state because he passed away so suddenly. We were hoping he was going to at least have a bit more time. So it's kind of nice in a way that we can't be there, and obviously he can't be there, but we can be in the stadium those last few times together, and it's quite emotional actually. That is that we can do that, and I'm pretty sure that Wolves have done something like that as well.
Yeah.
But they never seem to surprise us, do they, with their ingenuity and being the first at doing lots of things that are just fantastic.
Everyone's sort of jumped on the bandwagon since, like, you know, because it is a positive thing. But, you know, whether it's match day experience, whether it's, you know, our players leading the way in the generosity they showed through the crisis and helping the NHS and the foundation, you saw a lot of that inspired other clubs to do the same. People have a go at other clubs for then doing it afterwards. You shouldn't have a go. You should actually applaud them, and you should be proud that your club was the first.
Well, how many people were taking the mickey out of our fireworks? Yeah. And then our light show.
Doing it.
Everyone follows it, don't they?
It's match day experience. It creates that atmosphere, and it's great. I think the Wolves have done really well over the lockdown with some of the old matches that they've played and brought on. We've been able to watch. They've obviously the media team's done a great job as well. The foundation have continued their work, helping people, especially people like obviously isolated with mental health, and the foundation I know have done a lot of work. Helping lots of people, and you've got to be, and like you say, Manny, Fosun, the players as well have done their own bit, and you've got to be proud of the club and all of the stuff the fans have been doing as well in this hard time. But it's as you say, it's really nice now to be able to look and focus again on some football. So we've got 3 matches. We've got 9 matches to the end of the season. I'm just going to give you, we've had one question come on Twitter for the question, so it gives you a chance to think about this. How many points are we going to get to the end of the season, and what points are we going to finish up on in the 9 matches? And do you think, where do you think we're going to finish? That's for the end of the podcast, so think about that. But we're going to look ahead to the next 3 games in June, because I'm sure we'll come back for the next round of fixtures after that to talk about how we've been feeling about the actual watching experience, and also looking ahead to the remainder of the games in July after that period. So West Ham this weekend, well, not this weekend, next weekend in the London Stadium, massive stadium. How are we feeling about that? Obviously, Wolves have got another friendly, I think, as we're recording this afternoon against Birmingham. Is that right?
Yeah, Birmingham, yeah.
Right. And then they lost the initial friendly, didn't they, against Forest? What do you think, and what do you expect for the West Ham game, Manny?
I think if we go back to where we were before the crisis, if we played West Ham away, we'd all be fairly confident of going there and putting on a strong performance and looking to win the match. Obviously, the gap has probably changed things for everybody, so it is a bit like a pre-season ending and the first game. And the first game after a gap can always be quite a tricky thing.
Oh, yeah.
I suppose every team, we didn't really suffer from injuries, remember. We're very blessed in that department.
We had Johnny Otto was out, wasn't he?
Yeah, but nothing really serious. But most of the clubs, they were, and that was curtailing their season. And other clubs have managed, to get players back fit and strong. So it is a bit more of an even keel, I think. I think we'll win, because I just think we've got too much for a club like West Ham. I think our players are better than theirs. But,
I love it when we're saying that now. We've got too much away from home.
Let's be honest. you line that West Ham team up and you line Nuno's team up. We're not being biased because we're Wolves fans. Not many of them you'll draft into your team. Actually, you'd struggle to name a lot of them, So, and I'm sure their fans would name most of our players. So, yeah, I'm fairly confident.
What we're predicting? What's your score prediction for West Ham?
I'll just go for a tight match, 2-1, but I think we'll win.
And Kevin, what are your thoughts on the West Ham game?
Well, I'm just ultra positive about this. I think one of the real positives I think I've taken out from this horrible situation is a chance just to reflect on things that we'd taken for granted. And we almost take for granted what brilliant players we've got now.
Amazing.
And you watch some of the training sessions and you think, oh my God, he actually plays for us. And then you start to see some of the peripheral players now, and somebody like Podence. He is just astonishing. He is an amazing player.
He's got a big future when he gets into the side, isn't he?
We've kind of just taken these players for granted and don't realise how good they are. As Manny was saying, I just think we're player for player, we're just way too good for West Ham.
So what are you going for then?
It's going to be a typical Nuno game, 2-0.
2-0. See, I'm a little bit more cautious because I'm not necessarily...
Positivity, Dave. Positive.
I am positive. I am positive. You know I'm positive. West Ham are used to playing in a stadium with no atmosphere, aren't they? Let's face it.
Probably just another home game for them.
Yeah, I don't think any West Ham fans, it's a bit of banter. You've got a fantastic stadium. I went there, but like the atmosphere isn't really...
Most of our diehards agree, don't they?
It might play in their favour in that way. Wolves are not necessarily the fastest starters after a break, so I'm going to be a bit more cautious. I'm hoping we can win, but I'll take a point for the first game, a 1-1. But I'm hoping we do get the win. So I'm being a little bit more cautious on that first fixture, and that's going to be followed up, isn't it, against a home game at Molineux, which would be amazing to see them playing. And that's at home to Bournemouth. We'll go with you first, Kev, on the Bournemouth one. What are your thoughts about that?
No competition, is there really? It's 3-0.
3-0.
3-0.
Oh, I love Kev. Kev, you know that sign you got behind you? I love that sign that you got behind you. Have you seen this? The peace one. For
Bournemouth. Now, one of the things that's come out of the German restart is the home advantage has really been taken away because of the lack of stadium. But that's not a problem for us. We've actually got a better away record, haven't we, than home record. But I just think you see the hunger in the players. They just want to get on with it, and they really want to go. And it's 3-0.
3-0. Manny?
Well, before the lockdown, these matches, when we saw them, West Ham and Bournemouth, we thought this is the time to put the foot on the gas and really put a bit of pressure on those top four sides and maybe even, threaten that position. So, again, I think that Bournemouth game will really hit us because most fans attend the home games, not many go away. So that one will be the one where I think people will be a little bit emotional seeing their club playing at their home stadium and not being able to go. So, I'm sure the players are going to really, really, really rise to that occasion. So I'm confident, like Kevin. I think we'll win that game comfortably. I just can't see any other. Result because.
Go on then, score prediction.
Oh, I'll go for 2-0, but a comfortable 2-0.
I'm actually gutted about that game because we were due to be head coach sponsors, so chance to talk to Nuno.
Oh no, that would have been.
And the last time we did that was a couple of years ago, and we had just played Cardiff back in the Championship, and Nuno's comments about Warnock were just hysterical.
Were they?
Oh, absolutely. He said,
Have you
no
got
team
any
at
snippets?
will ever play like a Warnock team.
No wonder he got his own back in the away match then.
Oh God, yeah.
Around the pitch.
I'm gonna.
To be in his presence is just like, you're in awe.
He's got an aura around him, hasn't he? A presence.
And
It's a beard, lad. It's a beard.
It's a beard thing. That's where we're going wrong, Kev. We need to grow a beard. Which what we need to do. I'm gonna go and make it a triple on this one, because I do think that we'll be really starting to get into our stride. I'm gonna go with a 3-0 as well for Bournemouth. I think. Yeah. I'm gonna go with the 3-0. So you two have got us on 6 points so far, and I'm on 4. Yeah. And obviously, then we've got that the game we've been waiting for like forever, and Villa, which is going to be a massive game for them as well, because obviously fighting down the bottom. They will have. Is it McGann or McGinn or the back?
McGinn's sort of back, isn't he? I think.
Yeah. So obviously Midlands derby, all the mind the gap derby. What we go with you first, Manny. Villa Park.
That's that for me again. Player for player, I don't have any worries against them, and I think their defence is very frail. But just imagine like a derby of that level, because it has become our only derby. Let's be honest. So it is a high-profile game, but with 0 fans, and derbies are made by the atmosphere and the raucous nature and the singing and having to go at each other and the banter, and that's going to be missing. So I think that will level things out a lot. And Villa playing at home, I think it won't be as easy as we think it would be. I think we totally annihilated them at home. Yeah. You know, we, to be honest, the scoreline was flattering to Villa, the way we played at home. We should have beaten them by many more goals. So possibly that could be where we probably drop our first points of the season and maybe get a draw. It won't. I don't think it will be as easy as all that, to be fair.
So what your score prediction for that one then?
I'll go for 1-1. 7 points. It's not a bad result.
Okay, 7 points from the first 3. And Kev?
Well, if Bournemouth haven't got a chance, Villa have even got less of a chance.
Oh, I love Kev. I love him. I mean, have you got Nuno in your bedroom?
Their team. Really? They have got no chance at all. And okay, I'm going to be a bit generous to them, although we said home advantage is less of an issue these days. I think Nuno, again, will play it a bit cautious, but they're not going to score against us. They haven't got a striker. Their defence is absolutely appalling. And even though they've got John McGinn back, really against Neves and Moutinho? Come on.
I can't wait for Villa fans to watch this bit.
Absolutely no chance at all. But I'm kind of being generous to them. 2-0 Wolves.
So you're going for 9 points out the first 3 games. That would be amazing, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like interested with this one because I think Manny touched on it, and that is the fact that had it been at Villa Park in a full stadium, the atmosphere for Wolves pushing for those top places, Villa fighting for survival, the local rivalry, the fans in the stadium, it would have been raucous, wouldn't it? And that's kind of massively going to be taken out of. It's massively going to be taken out of us. So I think that's going to level it quite a lot, and that's going to take that advantage away from Villa. I think Villa are capable of pulling out results. McGinn, I think, has been quite influential when he's played, but sometimes he just go missing. But him and Grealish, it's going to be a battle, but I'm going to go for a win for Wolves on this one, 2-1. So I'm going to go with 7 points from the first 3. Manny, you're 7. And
Kevin's 9. I love Kevin. We've won the league.
And Kevin's 9.
Honestly, our traditional rivals haven't got where we're at now. That can only look on and weep.
Yeah.
We're just on a different level now.
Well, to be honest, these 3 games, just before the lockdown, I saw the 3 games, and I looked at them and I thought, wow, what a chance, really, to try and win all 3. And I would have probably been satisfied with 7 out of 9 points. So that's probably why I've gone that way. But they are we're better than all three sides. We know that. Let's be honest.
They are all winnable games. In fact, pretty much every fixture to the end of the season, you could make a case for Wolves winning every single one of them.
Yeah. My points prediction.
Well, can't wait for that. So
Kevin thinks we're going to get 30 out of 27.
Probably, yeah. So
yeah, I do have some kind of reality check.
There's a few match day changes, like the with the balls being cleaned, the goalposts being cleaned. The teams are going to come out separately to each other rather than together. They're not doing the handshakes. They're still doing the toy cosh and the music. They've got no ball boys. And of course, the one thing that we've got is there's going to be 9 substitutes on the bench now instead of like 7, and that each team can make 5 substitutes during the game. I think the reason FIFA brought that in, the Premier League have adopted it, is more to do with the fact because of the fitness levels, they can make 5 substitutes, but they can't make them like one at a time. They can only make 3 changes throughout the game, so at half time or whenever. So they can't, otherwise it slow the game down too much. What do you think about the depth of the Wolves squad compared to some of the other squads? Because we have got a tight squad, and the amount of substitutes, do you think that will affect Wolves or help us, or not, indifferent?
I don't think it's about quantity, Dave. It's about quality, about who you can bring on. If we look at somebody like Pedro Neto, the guy is developing into a beast. He's changing, and so do we bring Pedro Neto on for Jota? Does that weaken the team? No.
I love Pedro Neto. He's been my big surprise of the season.
And then we've got Jordo coming back to fitness, Podence.
Even at the back, Kevin, you bring Max Kilman on, in defence, and every time he's played, he's looked assured and controlled and comfortable. So
Nico's also bought through Christian Marquez, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And again, he looks set for a 17-year-old. He looks an immense player.
It's got a lot of potential. Do you think it's these last 9 games are going to be massive, really, for Morgan Gibbs-White?
What happened we don't want to touch on negativity, but he made a mistake. We all know he made a mistake, and I don't think Nuno forgives things like that very easily. He's really strong on discipline and remaining humble. I think, was it Podence who said his first interview sort of mentioned Champions League, and Nuno brought him down a peg straight away, saying, next game, that's all we're concentrating on. We're not talking about the Champions League. And then suddenly realised the kind of... So I think for Morgan Gibbs-White, it might be a bit of a last chance saloon, these 9 games, and if he does get on, because...
He has got so much ability.
He has got lots of talent. Well, we've had lots of players that have had lots of talent. Mentality has to go with talent. I'm sure he's a brilliant lad. He's young at the end of the day. We've all been young, and you're a bit foolish and you do things wrong. And I'm sure, even though the club didn't officially punish him, I'm sure Nuno has punished him, as in maybe spoke to him or given him a few stern words. So
I don't think he'd do. I think he will learn a lot from that. And you got to, like I say, he's young. I think Morgan, he's a local lad, he's got a lot of ability. We've seen flashes of it a couple of games last season. He's going to be needed with the 5 substitutes and the changes he can do, and his energy. If he can perform like he can, it could make a big difference, especially with it, because Wolves, you look at the likes of some of the teams in the top 6 that we're chasing and the depth of options that they have, and we have got quality, but we get injuries, we sometimes could struggle.
And Dave, Nuno, if you look at it, he never changed. He's got his base formula. It's not worrying him that he can't bring on 5 or 6 players. He's come back from Europe on a Thursday and played the same side on a Sunday and beat the champions. He's confident. The players are fit. They're well. They're rested. I don't think Nuno's too bothered about that.
Oh, he won't be. No, he'll just be positive, and the one thing that you can say about this Wolves team is the togetherness that they've got, the way they play. And let's face it, guys, we're sitting, what is it, 6 at the moment? Obviously, there's the Sheffield game in the week, which could change that. But we're 6. We're close to that 5th position, which is within striking distance, and the Champions League. And there's a few people come out that said, with the fixtures that Wolves have got, if we can like what we're talking about on paper, and obviously it's the old thing, it's not paid on paper. Wolves could sneak that 4th place. Why can't we do it? It's possible. We've got, of all the top 6, we've only got one. That's Chelsea, last match of the season, which I've always said could be a Champions League decider, that last match. It could well be. Yeah. So who's to say we can't? We're going to obviously look at that. But you think that it'd be interesting to see how the substitutions, and of course we will have VAR back. Maybe our luck will change a little bit. We haven't talked about it for so long, but it's going to rear its head again, isn't it?
Oh, it's going to happen. First game.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what the stocks and how they implement that and how it affects Wolves, because we've had, on the VAR table, we would be, I think, sort of like 5 or 6 points higher up now. So they do say it evens itself out. I haven't seen much sight of that yet. So maybe in the last 9 matches, we'll get a bit of evening out. So that's obviously our positive predictions. I love the positivity. Before we go on to talking about some transfer speculation, it is, Manny, is it not, that a very special day for you as we're recording this today?
Well, obviously it's podcast day, which is a day I always look forward to, Dave. No, it's my 22nd wedding anniversary, believe it or not, today.
Oh, so fantastic.
Here we are, and we're going to celebrate it with a trip to the kitchen, where we'll have a meal together. Now, my wife's actually working at the moment in another room somewhere else. She works on Saturday morning.
Oh, right.
In about 40 minutes. So this is my time with you guys.
We're going to pass today then for that. That's fair enough. Well, happy anniversary from obviously ourselves, and I'm sure everyone that's wishing and that listening and watching will also, in the comment section or on the podcast, send many happy returns for the 22nd wedding anniversary for you.
I'm trying to catch up, Kev, but he keeps moving ahead. I don't know how that happens.
Fantastic. So I think the next thing that we should look at, really, not too much in depth on what's coming in. There's a lot of speculation about players that Wolves are looking at. There seems we're linked with so many. And we could go on and do a separate podcast just on that on its own. But there's been so much, hasn't there, about Raul going to Juventus, to all of these teams, Traore being courted by Liverpool, Neves, Tottenham. What are your thoughts on all that? I mean, some newspaper, and I couldn't believe that they put it out, said we were looking at selling Raul for 18 million. I mean, seriously, 18 million? That wouldn't buy his right toe.
It's just astonishing, isn't it, that any serious journalist could actually think that was reality. I think the current situation is going to be a bit of a big reset button on transfer fees, certainly in the short term. If Liverpool aren't willing to spend 50-odd million on Timo Werner, then what's the likelihood of them spending absolutely massive on either on Neves, because Neves has been linked with Liverpool, hasn't he? And Traore. And Traore, Foden do not need to sell.
Well, they don't.
No.
So, they're serious businessmen. So every player has got his price, hasn't he? And, Wolves will have a backup plan if one of these players moves on. But I just can't see it. I really can't. Wherever the next transfer window is.
Manny probably knows anyway. He's probably had a chat with Raul about it already.
He loves this. He wants his baby born at New Cross.
Yeah. To be honest, I mean, I think he sent a message, both him and Daniela, didn't they? I mean, they are lovely. And when they put like the little wolf on her belly and stuff just after the speculation, and You know
what? Sometimes people think when you're rich and famous that you don't want to live a simple life. And if you see some of the during lockdown, if you saw some of the players' profiles or their stories or their posts, it was quite humbling to see the kind of surroundings that some of them live in. Diego Jota's gardens, like, really small, isn't it? And he was doing all his training in there.
You see Matinho's house in Portugal, though. Wow. Yeah.
Well, that was a mountain, that was.
What a fantastic, beautiful house.
Yeah, it just proves that these guys actually only want the same things as we want. They just want a bit of peace, a bit of, love, play around with their family, and they seem very grounded. Whether that's part of the recruitment strategy, the type of character that they try and attract. We don't have many guys who get filmed going into, clubs or whatever, or this or that. They just do very simple, homely things. And as long as they have that, I think they generally seem satisfied. They're not going to last forever. Obviously, they're not going to. And one day, Raul might want to go back to Mexico and play for a club there, or try his hand again.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he'd want to go back and play for Club America to finish his career.
I think you're right, man. I think that the players, particularly the Portuguese players, even Saïs and Raul, have really fitted into to the community here. The coaching staff as well. I've lost count of the number of times I've seen the coaching staff just go around the streets around here on the bikes.
On the bikes, yeah.
Just going for a bike ride.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. And you think, oh my God, look who's there. Look who's there.
Yeah.
But they've really embraced the community.
I think with the players and looking at Raul, is he 29, Raul?
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
He's, out of all the players, he's the one we're probably thinking, I've got one big move left. Now, if it was somewhere like Juventus or Real Madrid or maybe Barcelona and they came in, that might be something that he would be interested in doing. They're big clubs. He's also a Spanish speaker playing in La Liga. But I think he is quite settled. I don't necessarily see him going to anyone else in the Premier League. The other thing is, like what you said, Kev, why would Wolves sell Raul? He is integral to the way we play. He holds the ball up, he scores, he does everything. And we haven't even got a backup for him, let alone a replacement for him at the moment, really.
I watched the Benfica game the other day, and there's all this speculation about Vinicius, isn't there?
Yeah.
100 million. He's not in the same league as Raul, and he's certainly not the type of player that would fit into Nuno's team. He's not mobile enough.
No.
So we, they need that replacement. And
I just think Nuno, let's be honest, even Raul, when he came, remember when he came, he had a World Cup and he wasn't that good at the World Cup. He was okay. And everybody thought, oh, okay, let's see. Nuno's a magic man. He does things with players, trust me. Traore, last season to this year. I think, I've got complete faith that even if we did, let's be honest, Raul was asked a question in a, I think it was a Spanish interview, and they asked him about Barcelona or Real Madrid. Like any player would say, no, I'm not interested in Barcelona or Real Madrid. Everybody would say, oh, wow, what an opportunity that would be. So it's quite a natural answer he gave them. But I do trust that our key is Nuno. And if we keep him, he's got the ability to bring players in that we might not necessarily agree with.
And he always improves players as well.
He improves and he gets them better. Or he quickly makes his mind up and ships them back out again and brings the next one in. Like Catroni, for example.
The thing as well with Traore as well, and he is such an impact player and he's really developed. Traore's been a bit of a journeyman, I think. To him, he's had one really good season so far this season. He needs to stay. He's still young and continue to develop it. He's often jumped. And if he moved again, he could be ended up going backwards. I think he's moving forwards with Wolves. Neves would be the one that I'd be more worried about because he's been here the longest out of all of those. I think it's his fourth season next season and stuff. So that might be the one out of the three that I'd worry about potentially more. But again, if Wolves were to get Champions League for next season, either winning the Europa League or qualifying, again, Wolves' ambitions would be continuing to develop with his ambitions. So that's my thought. Jota's another one that you worry about. There will probably be someone that we don't want to leave go. There always is, isn't there? But you trust in the process. And the other thing is, like what Manny said, and you said, Kev, they've got the money. I've heard that they're going to be relaxing the FFP rules a little bit because of the situation, and that would benefit Wolves because Fosun have been restricted on investing because of sticking within FFP, and also they're building a team. Why would they sell their best players when they're building this team to win trophies and to win the Premier League?
Everything goes on achievement at the end of the day. If we get relegated, everyone leaves. If we didn't have the season last season, we would have a number of players going elsewhere. So if we achieve, then you build. So if we get into the top 5 or get into the Champions League, let's be honest, the likelihood is we strengthen the team, not dismantle it. And whether that means 1 or 2 leave and 3 or 4 come in, Nuno's vision and the club's vision will be, now we're in the Champions League, we have to make our pool stronger to compete.
And I think Nuno has done that in the past, hasn't he? You know, we were all, I don't think there was a supporter that wasn't absolutely aghast when Barry Douglas left.
Oh, everyone was, yeah.
And Wolves now, the media, the way they look at Wolves now, we've kind of now, they dismissed us, didn't they? And then they're kind of just like, oh, they've had a few good results. And now they're starting to really see that Wolves are serious about stepping up. And I think that's a good sign as well. And that, again, in terms, when players are looking at coming to Wolves, they look at the players that are there, how Wolves are doing, and they think, well, this is a journey we want to be part of as well. And it attracts the players, the quality, and it just keeps stepping it up. It's exciting times.
The one player I have seen in that Benfica game, Ruben Diaz, my God, what a player.
We've been looking at him before.
Yeah. And you can see him just absolutely
proper
sliding into the Wolves team. That right-sided defensive, absolutely superb, and plays the game how Nuno plays the game.
We were linked with him in the last summer window.
A lot of money. Again, I think what will help hold us back on those type of signings is the huge amount of money and the fees. And like Kevin says, I think there will be a bit of a step back by a lot of clubs. Because even ethically, you know, people have been placed on furlough. Even some clubs haven't coped as well as others. So it just doesn't sit right with, you know, somebody complaining about the situation and we're losing money and then spending £70 million on a player. You know, I just don't think
Spurs have taken out, is it £170 million loan?
Yeah,
a bit like that, yeah.
They've got a brand new stadium. They just built it. They've got to pay for it, and suddenly this happens.
So Arsenal suffered for that, didn't they, for a number of years?
Yeah.
I know. Well, so there's quite a lot of speculation. I think we've covered. I think we'll talk about that again. I think we'll know. I think more again as the weeks go by about that. But
a lot of the speculation comes from the Sun, and there you go. So
and agents put things out as well, don't they? They get them into the paper, so they'll all pan out over time. Anyway, so I mean, no Premier League club can officially buy someone until the 25th of July, I think. I might be able to put agreements in play, but you can't transfer that to come out. So on to some other news and some light news regarding ourselves. Manny, we're doing Samosa Saturday 5, is it, this one?
It's 6, actually. We've had 4 main ones, and we've done 2 takeaways, we call them. Samosa Saturday takeaway. And again, the first one we did.
Deck.
Yeah.
Saturday.
They ain't suiting me yet.
I'll give you having a game show host.
Oh no, there you go. Well, the thing is, it was funny because, you know, we just come up with the idea. We did it. We got about 60 houses last time, and we went from Ironbridge to Stourbridge. And there was 7 volunteers, and they all had a list of addresses to go to. Wonderful people. And I thank them so much for their help. And we had so many saying, what about my samosas? I missed out. I wanted some. And I was like, you know what? That's the hardest thing I've ever done in my marriage, was go to my wife and saying, we're going to cook samosas again. You know, and so she goes, how much? I said, 800. So, no, you know what? This time we've used a local business who are very local to us. And there's an old woman who owns it, and she's cooks them just like we do. So she's opening back up on the 15th of June. So we're going to use her and build her business back up as well. So we're going to do a bit of cooking, and we'll buy some from her as well. Day of the match, and thankfully the kick-off's at 5:30, gives us time. And we've got 75 houses. I'm delivering to, believe it or not, I'm delivering to about 4 members of the foundation. I'm delivering to Susie Perry's parents. She's
fantastic.
Yeah, brilliant. Everyone's just jumped on. And Kevin Thelwell, he's ordered some for his family and his daughter. And he's just a bit on Kevin. He's obviously got this job with New York Red Bulls, but never went because this happened. So he's stuck in his home, nowhere to go, sort of directing a brand new club from Zoom. You couldn't make it up, could you?
Mad in it. Well, that's great, and obviously this will go out. And what's your capacity of houses that you can do?
Well, we had 60 last time. We're doing, I think, 75. We got in the list. Would have expected, but it's going to be a great event. I think we're going to head to raise another 1,500 quid from it. We did raise the similar amount last time, so I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm off work at the moment, Kev and Dave. I suffer something called Bell's palsy, this side of the face, and my sort of jaw gets really numb every so often. And Saturday night was quite a bad night for me, so told me to take some time off work and just relax and do things I like doing, which is this. You know what work is like. Work is a stress, isn't it? It's a stress on your body. Mentally, I feel okay, but sometimes physically you can suffer. So I've got free time. I've took some time off, and we'll be cooking and serving the community and just bringing a few smiles, leading on to backing West Ham on Saturday evening.
That'd be a perfect day, wouldn't it? Samosas. People probably be having the samosas watching the game as well, which would be amazing. Well done on that. I like that. I like the new branding. Samosa Saturday takeaway. I love it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the takeaway being added to it.
Oh, it's fantastic. I've got some good news as well. My YouTube channel, my Dazzling Dave Wolves fan YouTube channel, my dad and stuff like that, has actually been made a finalist in the football 2020 Football Content Awards as best club creative for the Premier League, which is unbelievable.
Well done on that. Congratulations, mate.
At the final, yeah, and the voting actually goes on up until it's there's fans votes and then there's judges 50-50, a bit like Eurovision, I think. And the final.
Oh, don't say Eurovision. We all always come last.
No, I want to get 0 points. But I'm up against like the likes of massive channels from Liverpool, United, City, Tottenham. The awards actually have been put back till November, even though the voting is actually at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in November. So all I would just say, if there's any people listening or watching it on the channel, please can you vote? You can vote on Instagram, Twitter by tagging me, or through the websites, and let's hope we can bring it home for the pack. Would be amazing to. I'm just really proud to. It's like being nominated.
Kev, more than just voting for you and your channel, it's another chance for fans just to put our club on the map.
Exactly.
Why shouldn't we be up there? We should be on the top table with all those clubs you've just beaten them. You just mentioned, because we've absolutely murdered them on the pitch. So we can do it off the pitch as well.
So yeah, that's brilliant news, and we've got to go on to some questions now. We've had a few questions come, but Manny, I think we've got a few on. There's a couple of funny ones as well. Do you want to read them out, and then we'll?
Oh, let me just bring them up, Dave. If you've got any, I'll bring them up.
Yeah. So whilst Manny's bringing those up, one of the questions that come up was how many points that we're going to get, and where we're going to finish. Kev.
63, fourth.
So you're going with 63 points and fourth. Yep. That's 20
Oh, okay.
5 points off Chelsea. We've got to play Chelsea. We're going to catch Chelsea. 20 points.
20 points. Manny?
You know what, Kevin? I actually I've tried to be as positive as possible as well. Obviously, you're going to drop points on the way, and we'll probably lose a match somewhere where we'll go absolutely ballistic on Twitter for 3 days and shouting Nuno out. But we will get. I think we'll get 20 points as well overall. Interesting,
boys.
No, I did.
I've gone with 19 points.
Oh, you're always negative. You are.
I want to give us more, but I'll be real. 19 points, 62, and it'd be great if we can get fourth, but fifth. And what are you going for, place-wise?
I don't know, but it's really hard to see the positioning. I think we'll finish 5th.
So fifth, 63 points, and you're 4th, and with 63, and I've got 62. So we're very close to what we've all predicted on a points per game basis.
You know what? You know what, Dave? Forget it. Call off the season, publish the table, and let's go to the Champions League.
We'll just tell everyone now. This is how it is. We've qualified for the Champions League.
I think the Manu. I think with the signing of Bruno Fernandes, that's a massive signing for them.
Yeah, they've improved a lot. Well, that's interesting. So have you got these other questions, Manny?
Well, you know what? I had a very nice guy who posts a lot of positive comments on Twitter, @KingWolf84. And he just wants to mention again, and Kevin will have an input into the Wolves women. Obviously, you know, their season, devastating. You know, their manager has told his story about that he cried when he heard about the season being curtailed and all the effort he put in. But the positive side of it was they managed to do a fundraiser between themselves where they did a virtual bike ride from Compton in Wolverhampton to Compton in California, which was something like 5,300 miles or whatever. So all the girls got on their bikes, they got on their running shoes on, and they raised a tremendous amount. I think it's been price matched by a local businesses as well for Compton Care. So huge congratulations for somebody in adversity doing something so positive.
They are. I mean, and that shows a lot. Again, the spirit within their squad and the ethos of what Wolves is about. I mean, I think it's so. It makes me actually really angry that the Women's League, the top 2 divisions, they've got placements and stuff like that and promotions, and Wolves women who are so far ahead in their league. Can you imagine that happening to Liverpool in the Premier League? It seems really unfair because they were dominating it. But then to take that, like you say, on the chin and then go and do that positivity says a lot about them. And hopefully they'll come back even stronger next year and win it even more convincingly, because I think the Wolves women have got a great future, and I don't think it'll be too many seasons before, with the investment that the club are putting in and the infrastructure and everything the foundation are doing to encourage girls into football, that we'll be getting a team into the top division of the women's game as well. I think that'll happen in the next 5 years too. So well done, well done.
I think Fosun are really positive about promoting the women's game within the foundation. I mean, just little things like the players don't actually have to pay to play now, which at that level is just absolutely unheard of. So it's just really positive support. The people within the women's team are just amazing people. And again, similar to the bonds that the men's team have. It's, you know, it just shines through.
I remember going to a match against Sporting Calcer. It was a cup match and it was raining that day, and we were sitting in the stand watching the women play, and they were dominating the match. There was something like 5-0 up, and I was sitting right behind the bench, and Dan, the coach, McNamara, he came over to me and shook my hand and started just having a chin wag about something else. And I'm like, your team's playing out there. You can't just... He's such a lovely, lovely person, and he's really passionate about making such a difference. And we're lucky to have people like that. But it also shows the level of investment that is still required, and we have to keep the focus on, because, you know, we need more fans. Encourage them, because all season...
I think that will grow over time. I think, like with the women's game...
Dave, if you've got a Sunday off and you've got nothing to do, it's £1.
I'm definitely going to be going to a couple of games next season.
It's really, really, you know. We've got another question. Well, there aren't questions. This guy at Jack Sparrow 3.
It's hilarious.
The guy he did a lot of work with the Molyneux Sleep Out. Probably saw him with the light bulb on his head with the bowler hat. He's a madcap man. He actually works for Network Rail as a manager. Just like
everything, didn't it? Works with you.
We're all mad who work on the railways. We go back nearly 20 years. So his questions are, so it's just quick, easy ones for both of you.
Quick fire.
Scrambled eggs, saucepan or microwave?
Saucepan.
Saucepan.
I'm vegan. 2, fingers as long as your legs, or legs as long as your fingers?
Fingers as long as your legs.
I don't understand the question.
Neither do I, because it's not a question. Pie or a pasty?
Oh,
Pie. Especially the pucker.
pasty.
I'm going pasty.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave. Bovril or soup?
I always have a bovril if I can. If it's cold at the match, so I'm going bovril.
Soup.
Soup. Yeah, I think Bovril's on its way out, Dave. You need to move with the times.
There's a shortage of Marmite as well at the moment, isn't there?
It isn't there. I haven't heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marmite panic buying. Bloody hell. Anyway, football mugs at work mandatory.
100% yes.
100% yes.
You have to wind the opposition up.
I work in Salt Liam, Kev. It's all Birmingham and Aston Villa and a few Baggies fans. And I've got Nuno stickers on the drawers. I've got the mugs out. I've had a scarf on the bloody day. I've had everything I have. No way are we not going to get our mugs out. All of them lads.
And there's one last one. And there's another one here, isn't there? I think from John Holding, Manny, that on the Always Wolves side, when we tweeted out, said, will players adjust their goal celebrations if there's no fans to interact with? I think there's a ruling on that, isn't there? They can't.
They're not allowed to sort of gather together and jump on each other. I think it's what it is. It's not something to protect themselves, because in the match they'll be jostling and pushing and shoving and doing all the normal things. I think it's just a gesture to send out to the world that social distancing is still a thing, and we do respect it as much as we can. That's all it is, I think.
I think we'll see some more creative goal celebrations.
Yeah, definitely.
What will Paul? You know what? Who I feel sorry for? It's Connor Cody. He must be devastated.
Oh, I know. He runs half the length of the pitch to.
You jump on someone's back. What will he do? He'll just be there with his hands crossed like a sulking little kid, thinking.
Do you think they'll play the chant? Is this a library? Is this a library? With no facts there, that it's funny, isn't it? But I mean, at the end of the day, it's good to have something to look forward to, isn't it? As a fan, to be able to. We haven't had that much to look forward to. We've had, obviously, everyone's been through their own personal journeys during this lockdown. And can you imagine when we can all get back together one day, hopefully at Molineux as a pack, I'll probably cry and be really emotional.
You cry a lot, Dave.
It's our home, isn't it? It's our second home. Not to be able to go. And when we go and eventually can go back and support our team, it's going to be such an emotional, special day. And I look forward to
what I said earlier, Dave. At this time, we miss things that we took for granted.
Yeah.
And, meeting up with our friends to go to the game. That's so much part of it, isn't it? Part of the experience. And I can't wait. I can't wait.
Half of the problems.
Yeah, we can have a pint and have a cheese and onion cob and have that with the friends.
Dave, we've kept this really, really positive, and we know there's problems out in the world, and a lot of them stem from this. We're sort of locked around, and we're not meeting people. We're not sitting around with our friends, and we're not just having a chin wag and sorting things out like we used to. And when our minds are empty, they start playing, and we see things on social media to influence us and the way they're portrayed. So, meeting your friends, meeting your family. I'm a man of faith. I can't even go and pray, So it's a big part of everyone's life that is being curtailed now. And football is, a huge part of people's life.
Massive. It's massive.
People spend, how much money did people actually spend this season? They wouldn't even look at their bank balances, because it was huge, wasn't it? Going away, going to Europe and everything.
And everything's all worth it.
Yeah. And that gave them the forum to just chat and talk and be with their mates and say hello to people, and all that's gone missing.
Well, we have got positive stuff to look forward to now, and lots of hopefully the journey that we're going to be on over the next 6 weeks with the team, and see where we all end up. But at least a week today, as we record this, you'll be delivering. Get ready to drop out your samosas. Yeah. We'll all be looking forward to watching us according to Kev, hammer the hammers, and it'll be something, and then we'll see where the journey takes us. But guys, it's been an absolute pleasure again having you on the podcast. So we will all get together again after the first 3 fixtures to review those and see how the experience has been and share our thoughts with the fans and maybe have another guest on. But Kev, how can people find you on socials?
I think just Kevin Rogers at Paycare on Twitter. Happy to connect.
And you, Manny?
Yeah, I mean, on Twitter mainly and Facebook, at Pedal Sing, Manny Sing Kang. Yeah, I do post a lot and I do share a lot. That's sort of, people asked me this morning, someone asked me, what's the ingredient to a successful marriage? And I posted something just before we came on. A key ingredient to a long, long marriage is madness. And it's
I must admit, I do love their music.
So I posted a picture of me.
The House of Fun.
I'm hanging upside down from a crossbar yesterday with my boy. I posted a picture of that.
I've seen that photo. I also went on to get my cup of tea in the break.
And that man Kevin was singing songs in his garden with his wife. What the hell was all that about and being filmed? So, madness is actually a good thing. It actually, people being a bit different and a bit, out of the box. It's a release, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's just something that comes naturally. So don't take everything seriously in life and just enjoy the moment and live with some positivity.
There's going to be some good moments. My socials, you can just get me on Twitter and Instagram and also my YouTube channel, Dazzling Dave. Boys, it's been an absolute joy doing this. We always have a laugh when we do it.
Well, you know what, Dave? I just thought, here's an appeal. I want a girl on the next podcast.
I did try
to find a girl.
I did try and get one for this one. I will get a girl on for the next one, okay? To join us. I did try. We're a bit shy, but I'll play this little excerpt and see whether I can persuade them to get on to the next one.
Brilliant.
Okay, so that'll be fine. Absolutely. So from all of us, if you're watching it on YouTube, leave your comments below. Don't forget to wish Manny a happy birthday. Get behind some
birthday.
Happy anniversary for him and his wife.
I don't mind it being my 22nd birthday. I'll take that.
I know. Leave your comments below on what we've talked about. Leave your predictions for the 3 games. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or whatever you're listening to, and be safe. Get behind the team. Let's spread the positivity and the belief and have a fun from all of us to you and your family, wherever you're listening or watching in the world. All the best and always Wolves.